Hi, everyone. Meteorologist Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Hour streaming studio. Hope everyone is having a nice Thursday morning. I'll actually have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to be seeing a very windy day across the state today. Also keeping an eye on chances, again, for any moisture, again, as we head towards the Christmas holiday, which is less than a week away. Again, still looking at and waiting for our first snowfall opportunity here in the capital city. But first, before we dive in, today's Thursday. That means we have a new drought monitor that was released, so we'll take a look at kind of where we stand in terms of our drought. This is the drought monitor we had last week. Again, you can see much of northern Nebraska under severe drought, a couple spots of extreme drought in north central, northeastern Nebraska, also some extreme drought out in the Panhandle and northwestern Nebraska, moderate drought conditions for much of south central, southeastern, and into northeastern Nebraska. The southwestern corner of the state is the part of the state that right now is doing the best. Some areas drought-free, otherwise abnormally dry down near Imperial, McCook, and up towards North Platte. So the drought monitor that we had released today, some good news, and that is that we did manage to at least shed off some of the extreme drought there in the northeastern corner of the state. So again, not much else changed except for that. So again, just shaving off a little piece of that extreme drought there in the northeastern corner of the state. So again, if you look at the drought status over time, again, over the course of the past year, again, still have a large swath of the state under drought conditions, about 94% of the state under some kind of drought, but our areas of extreme drought did shrink by just a little bit. Again, not much, but just a little bit. So again, that is at least a step in the right direction. Again, it is December. It is winter. Again, astronomical winter starts on Saturday. We don't average a lot of precipitation during this time. So again, not surprising that we wouldn't be expecting to make a huge dent in our drought conditions through the winter months. But again, certainly lack of snow is a little bit concerning. Again, we are still waiting for that first measurable snow, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Nationally, that drought monitor, though, again, still have some problem spots that we're keeping an eye on up across New England. From D.C. up towards New York, also have southwest Texas, and still have the high plains across the Dakotas, in Wyoming, Montana. Those areas still have quite a bit of drought as well. Nationally, again, if you look at that drought monitor status over the past year, about 30% of the contiguous United States drought-free. Again, you're still about only 4.5% of the country under any extreme or exceptional drought. So again, that is good, but again, still have a pretty good chunk of the country under some sort of drought conditions out there. Again, like I mentioned it, lack of snow still a little bit concerning, especially for us here in Lincoln and eastern Nebraska. We do need snow. This is sort of the baseline as we head into the spring. Again, of keeping some moisture in the ground and on the ground, and so again, haven't seen anything yet. About 5 inches below normal for our snowfall. Today is day number 336 since our last measurable snow in Lincoln. Again, going back to January 18th, that's by far and away, the record. The previous record was 309 days. And again, right now, forecast for anyone who's hoping for snow doesn't look all that great. The Chief Meteorologist Ken Shimmick put out a graphic the other night on social media, again, with just the average monthly snowfall. And again, still hope, because January and February are still our two snowiest months on average in the capital city. So again, we can still get quite a bit of snow, even though we haven't seen any snow. We can still get quite a bit of snow through the months of January, February, and even into March and April. So again, all is not lost yet. But again, we are continuing to climb up the ranks of our latest first snows. Right now, it would be, again, if it snowed today, which it won't, it would be tied for the 8th latest first snowfall on record. And again, we're going to continue to climb up that list as we head over the next several days. Tomorrow will be tied for 6th. And again, I certainly think we're going to get pretty close to the top of this list by the time it's all said and done. This is the 7-day snowfall forecast or model from the European model. And again, you can see it has no snow through Thursday of next week. So this would indicate not only, again, a lack of snowfall chances, but a brown Christmas for much of us here in the state of Nebraska. So that's the European model. The American GFS model, again, almost the exact same thing. Again, really no snow expected for our area over the course of the next week. So again, those hoping for a white Christmas, unfortunately, I think you're going to be left wanting and hoping. Looks like a brown Christmas this year. Last year in Lincoln, we did pick up almost 3 inches of snow on Christmas Day, but again, that's probably not going to be the case this year. These are the numbers from yesterday. It was a little bit cooler, but fairly close to normal for this time of year. 40 and 23 for a high and low. Again, no moisture yesterday. So 5.3 inches below normal for our snowfall so far this year, and about 75 hundredths below normal for our liquid precipitation year to date. Weather headlines for today. today, very windy. Again, we're going to be dealing with a lot of wind, especially through this afternoon and this evening, as a cold front is going to come barreling through the state. So temperatures ahead of that front, especially for southern Nebraska, including here in Lincoln, going to be fairly mild. In fact, I think we're going to get into the low 50s this afternoon, early this afternoon. But then the cold front arrives, the strong winds arrive, and we're going to see temperatures fall then as we head through the afternoon to the evening pretty quickly, bottoming out as we head into early Friday morning, and then expect a chilly day into the Friday afternoon time frame. And again, still waiting for those snowfall chances. High wind warnings are in place across the northern tier of the state from Norfolk over towards Ainsworth, O'Neill, Valentine areas. These high wind warnings go through 6 o'clock this evening for the northeastern part of the state through 4 o'clock this afternoon for kind of north central parts of the state. And it's these areas that are where we think some of the strongest wind gusts could occur. And we think those top end wind gusts could be 60 miles an hour and maybe even a few higher than that. But again, very strong winds expected. Wind advisories then for the southeastern corner of the state, including in Lincoln, also running through Thursday evening, and wind gusts as high as maybe 50 to 55 miles an hour possible in those areas, not quite to that high wind warning criteria in the wind advisory criteria. And again, it will be very windy in central Nebraska as well for Grand Island, Hastings, Kearney. It's just that the National Weather Service office in Hastings, for their area, they do not issue wind advisories. If they did issue wind advisories, they would be issuing them quite frequently, so they don't issue wind advisories, but it is still going to be very windy for areas like Grand Island, Hastings, Kearney, and for much of south central Nebraska as well. Winds not quite as strong then as you head into the western sections of the state. So if we look at the future wind gusts, again, it's already picking up out there, but as we head into this afternoon, again, you can see, especially for northern, northeastern Nebraska, winds gusting maybe top end to around 55 to 65 miles an hour. By the noon hour, we can start to see those winds really kicking up in Lincoln and southeastern Nebraska, gusting 35, 45, maybe close to 50 miles an hour, and then that will continue through this afternoon. By 5 o'clock, the top-end wind gusts may be settling down a little bit, but we're still looking at widespread wind gusts between 45, 55 miles an hour being possible by 5 o'clock. So again, if you have any outdoor inflatables, you want to make sure those are either brought in or tied down, because things could really be blowing around pretty good as we head throughout the day today into Thursday evening. Again, a lot of times we'll see that wind settle down after the sun goes down, and that will kind of be true in this case, but even by 10 o'clock tonight, we're still looking at those winds gusting 35 to 45 miles an hour across the eastern half of the state. So it's going to stay very windy even through 10 o'clock tonight, and then even through the overnight hours, it's going to stay fairly blustery for us by early Friday morning. We're still going to be looking at parts of far eastern Nebraska still gusting between 30 and maybe 40 miles an hour at times. So again, very windy conditions expected out there for many areas in central and eastern Nebraska through this afternoon and into this evening. Things aren't too bad right now, though. Again, plenty of sunshine out there early on your Thursday morning, just a few clouds kind of here and there. Here in the capital city, it's mostly blue skies, and temperatures already on the mild side for this time of year for 9 o'clock in the morning. It's mid-30s at the airport and here at the 1011 studios. Just a light southwest wind at 3 miles an hour, and temperatures on the Tempest stations across town generally sit in the middle 30s for us across the whole state. Again, even milder conditions across the northern and northeastern parts of the state, where it's already into the lower to middle 40s for those areas. So again, a very mild start to the day for us across the state. Winds, again, you can see those winds beginning to pick up for north central Nebraska, sustained at about 15 to 25 miles an hour. Otherwise, the rest of the 10-11 coverage area, those winds are fairly calm, and already seeing some of those winds gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour from Ord up to O'Neill and over towards Valentine. And you can see the contour there on this graphic as you head into South Dakota. That's where those strong winds are right now, and they're going to be barreling our way as we head through the day today. We factor in the wind, whether it's light or strong right now, and again, we have wind chills ranging from the mid-20s to the mid-30s for most of the state. Satellite radar picture is fairly quiet. Again, there's just a few clouds kind of here and there. If you zoom out and look at a regional view, it's a little more active as you head up to our north and to our north and east. Quick moving system diving through the Dakotas, through Minnesota and Wisconsin, bringing some areas of moderate to maybe even heavy snow for parts of those regions. And again, that system's going to continue to dive off to the east and to the southeast, we're going to get the trailing cold front with it and the wind on the back side of it, but not going to see any of the moisture that comes with it. You zoom out, look at a national view, and again, that's really the one big system that's impacting the country as of right now. And you can see with the weather alerts, again, it's the one big system that's impacting the country right now as well. Winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings in place across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, over towards parts of Michigan, and then we have the high wind warnings and wind advisories across parts of the Dakotas into northern Nebraska. Wind advisories extend there into parts of western Iowa as well. So we check out Skycast. Again, those areas of snow, again, are no concern for us. We're going to be dealing with mainly sunny skies through the day today, but again, a lot of wind as we head through this afternoon and this evening. And then as we head overnight tonight, that wind will die down at least a little bit, although it will stay again blustery even into Friday morning, but we're generally looking at mostly sunny skies across the area to go along with those blustery conditions. And then it will just be cold as we head into the day on your Friday. Again, on the backside of that system, temperatures, especially for eastern Nebraska, only going to be reaching into the 20s for Friday afternoon, but again, should come with mostly sunny skies across much of the state, and again, dry conditions as we round out the work week. And then into the day on Saturday, again, expecting more quiet conditions, more sunshine as we start the weekend. Sunny to mostly sunny skies across the state, and again, not nearly as much wind for the day on Saturday, and temperatures, again, should begin to rebound for us as well. So high temperatures today, again, a little deceiving, especially in the southern half of the state. These highs in the low to mid 50s are going to be set early in the day. We're thinking noon, 1, 2 o'clock is when we'll see these actual high temperatures being set. But then temperatures as that front arrives will quickly begin to cool off as we head through the remainder of the afternoon into this evening. A little bit cooler across the northern tier of the state with temperatures generally in the lower to middle 40s for those locations. And then temperatures will continue to plummet as we head into Friday morning, bottoming out into the single digits and lower teens across the state. So a very cold start to our Friday. Again, you factor in the wind and wind chills early Friday morning. Again, likely going to be near zero, if not maybe a few degrees below zero in some locations. Friday afternoon for the eastern half of the state, especially in northeastern Nebraska, it will be very cold. Lows or high temperatures will be in the mid to upper 20s to right around 30 degrees. A little bit warmer as you head then further to the west, around 40 for North Platte, and then into the 40s and even low to mid 50s for parts of the Nebraska Panhandle by Friday afternoon. Saturday morning, a little bit more seasonal for us. We'll say mid to upper teens to low 20s for lows as we start the weekend. Saturday afternoon, temperatures do moderate. More seasonal for the eastern half of the state, a little bit milder for the western half of the state with temperatures in the upper 40s to upper 50s. Sunday morning, again, a little few degrees warmer, low to mid 20s for low temperatures to start Sunday. Sunday afternoon, things continue to climb back up a few degrees, mid to upper 40s to low to mid 50s for the eastern half of the state, and we'll even be looking at some low to mid 60s possible across parts of western Nebraska for the day on Sunday. Monday morning again stays mild with lows in the upper 20s to low 30s. Monday afternoon we're back to the upper 40s to upper 50s across the state as we start the holiday week, again with some of those mild and above average temperatures, and you can see basically stays there as we head through the holiday next week. Again, 47 for a high on Christmas Eve. Right now in Lincoln, we're going to go with 48 for a high on Christmas Day. We do have a 20% chance of what we think could be mainly rain on Christmas Day. Something we'll keep a close eye on again as we get closer to the Christmas holiday. 10-day forecast for select cities across the state looks like this. You can see by far and away Friday looks like it's going to be the coldest day out of the next 10 days. Otherwise, we're generally looking at mild, above average conditions as we head through the Christmas holiday and beyond. Again, this 10-day forecast takes us through next Saturday, December 28th. And again, right now looks like temperatures generally sitting through that time frame, mid 40s to mid 50s. So again, certainly not feeling like mid to late December over the course of the next 10 days. Chances for any moisture, again, over the next 5 or 6 days are pretty slim, but we do see a potentially a little bit more active pattern arriving as we head towards Christmas Day and beyond. That does include at least more chances for some moisture, but again, right now, with where temperatures are, a lot of that could come as rain, depending on the time of the day that it falls. So again, we'll keep a close eye on that. 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. This takes us into the new year. This is December 26th through January 1st, 2025. And again, still looking at very high odds of above average temperatures, not only for the state, but for much of the region as we head through that time frame. Do still have green, though, when it comes to the precipitation outlook, which means that slightly wetter than average conditions are favored across the region. But again, with the above average temperatures, does that mean it's more rain than snow? Again, we're just going to have to wait and see. Only time will tell when it comes to that. So again, a lot to actually kind of look at over the next day or so, especially with all the wind that we're expecting today. Colder temperatures tomorrow. But again, the cold day tomorrow is going to be sort of the outlier when we look at the forecast over the next week to 10 days with generally above average temperatures. And again, still waiting for those snowfall chances. And again, right now, it looks like it's going to be a brown Christmas for many areas, not only in Lincoln and eastern Nebraska, but for much of the state as well. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it and let you know what you need to know. Also, again, as I mentioned, if you haven't done so already, today, right now is kind of your heads up. If you haven't kind of pulled the trash cans in, maybe brought the inflatable Christmas decorations in today. Now's your chance to kind of get things moved in or get them kind of buttoned down just a little bit. Very windy conditions expected through this afternoon and through this evening as well. So we'll keep you updated on what you need to know. Appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching as always. And until next time, I hope everyone has a nice Thursday.